Hi, welcome to another episode of Talking with Docs. I'm Dr. Paul Zalzal.
I'm Dr. Brad Weenan.
Journal Club.
Journal Club.
We have an interesting article today talking about cancer and its worldwide burden.
Okay, August 2022. Pretty hot off the press.
That's hot.
In The Lancet.
Hey, what do you do if you have a boil on your arm?
Yeah, Lancet.
Lancet.
It's ET, not IT. But the title of this article is The Global Burden of Cancer Attributable to Risk Factors 2010 to 2019, a systematic analysis for the Global Burden of Disease Study 2019.
What's with the long titles?
I don't know.
Can't they just say cancer in the world?
I know, they just think they're better if they have long titles.
Long title's not always better. Okay,
No.
What's this article talking about?
So it's talking about A, the impact of cancer specifically related to death, as well as what modifiable risk factors exist that we could change, that maybe could change our risk of getting or dying from cancer.
Okay, so a risk factor that's modifiable means it's something you can do to get yourself away from that risk factor.
Right, so say you have a genetic predisposition to cancer, you can't really modify that. If that's in your DNA, you can't modify your DNA yet.
Can't
I think Elon Musk might be working on this.
You can't choose your genes.
You can't choose your genes.
Well, before you go out for dinner, you can, but
Sure.
the genes in your body you cannot change.
Yes.
So modifiable risk factors. Give us some
Speaking of that,
examples.
did you know skinny jeans are out now, eh?
Again?
Apparently I think
Oh,
they're
I
back
got-
out.
I got to go shopping this weekend then.
Yeah.
All right. So smoking,
Yes.
that's probably one of the best examples.
And the most obvious, I think, right?
Smoking,
Yeah,
yeah.
we all know it's not a secret anymore.
Yeah.
Newsflash,
Yeah.
smoking causes cancer.
Okay, alcohol intake, unfortunately.
This is a hot topic, and we're going to do a specific video just about alcohol later on. But yes, alcohol directly linked to cancer. The amount is unsure, but definitely it's linked to cancer.
Environmental factors.
Yes.
Right, pollutants in the air.
Yep.
Ultraviolet light exposure.
Right.
That's for skin cancer.
Sure.
BMI, body mass index.
Right. So metabolic causes. So having an elevated body mass index or carrying extra weight is directly linked to multiple different kinds of cancer.
And maybe an elevated resting blood sugar level.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Hyperglycemia.
Those are some examples of modifiable risk factors.
Right.
Did you see that chicken wings was not on the list?
I didn't see that.
I did.
I think it's implied.
Okay, so what's the deal? What's the kind of bottom line of this paper?
So the bottom
What
line
did
is,
they do? What did they do?
So the bottom line is they looked at a whole bunch of cancer deaths, like 4.5 million cancer deaths, and then looked at 82 different pairs of variables to see which factors were common, and then they identified which ones were modifiable, and then made an estimate of what percentage or what number of cancer deaths could have been prevented.
Take a guess.
It's a lot higher than you think.
Is it 20%? Is it 44%? Is it 60%?
It's 44%.
44% of worldwide cancer deaths are attributable to modifiable risk factors, which means that 44% of those cancer deaths could have been avoided.
If you did other stuff, healthier stuff. That's a huge number. It's almost 1 in 2.
Yeah. I mean, now it's easy for us to say, okay, just stop doing that stuff.
Yeah.
However, some would argue that it's very difficult to stop doing that stuff.
Right.
For example, body mass index. Is that really modifiable? If someone has an elevated BMI, they would argue with you and say, no, it's not modifiable because I can't seem to get the weight off.
Right, and I've tried. Obviously, with the epidemic shows that
Yes.
for sure.
And I've read papers that take that approach and say, look, stop considering this a modifiable risk factor. People
Right.
who have elevated BMI can't bring it down. That's
Right.
one argument on that.
Okay.
Pollutants, where you live, can you control the pollution yourself? Right, so there are, it's kind of a debatable topic as to these modifiable risk factors.
Sure.
But the bottom line is 44% of cancers were caused by things that were modifiable by this definition.
Okay, so what we're gonna highlight the top 3.
Okay,
Okay, number 1.
smoking.
Come on, smoking. Come on.
This isn't the 60s anymore.
Right. And you wonder if vaping will somehow be part of that. Obviously, the toxins that are in vapes are different, but we just don't know how safe they are, and it makes me nervous. I think to
Yeah.
fast forward 20 years from now,
just
all
don't.
these kids and people that vape, you think,
Yeah.
maybe just don't vape.
Yeah.
It's just not a good idea.
So smoking, number
Okay.
1.
Okay, number 2.
Drinking.
Drinking.
It's not the 70s anymore.
That's right. So from the 60s to the 70s. So alcohol directly linked because of the way that it modifies things even at the cellular level that lead to cancer.
And then number 3 was BMI, I think.
So number 3 was
body mass index.
Yeah, so they talk about essentially like metabolic causes or the metabolic syndrome and its relation to BMI.
It's
So
not the 80s anymore.
it's not the 80s when fast food and processed food became popular.
All right. So those are the top three.
Yeah, one separation is that in countries that had lower sociodemographic indices, is that interestingly, and I think it even lends credence to it being on the list, is that the elevated BMI was not on the list because often people that live in these countries do not have an elevated BMI because of food insecurity and access to food and processed foods, that kind of stuff.
Food is scarce, so BMI is not a problem.
But unfortunately, unsafe sex was because of access to education and resources. Again,
unsafe sex. What's the pathway of unsafe sex leading to a cancer?
Well, it's a good question. Typically, it's primarily in women, but also partially in males, related to the HPV virus, or the human papilloma virus.
Right, and its association with cervical cancer.
Direct correlation, and throat cancer in men more commonly.
Yeah, so that is the link with unsafe sex.
Yes.
And so that's one of the risk factors. Other ones that came up, other than these top three and fourth, pollutants in the air.
Yep.
Elevated glucose levels. We talked about. Anything else?
No, but just about HPV, the reason in those countries that they have higher incidence of this is because of access to vaccines. So we have HPV vaccine, which is new. That wasn't around in the 70s and the 80s or the 90s, but now it's become commonly implemented in schools to increase the protection for children.
Which is still no excuse to have unsafe
sex, because there's other problems.
Vaccinated, but there are obviously other problems associated with that.
Right.
HIV, other issues as well.
Sure.
Okay, so should I just then, and we talk about modifiable risk factors and doing things that can be harmful to you, but then you can kind of extrapolate to, well, driving in a car, that can kill you. Flying in a plane, that can kill you.
Sure.
Playing sports, that can injure you or even kill you.
Yes.
Should we stop doing all those things too?
No, I think because of the likelihood of those events leading to a death, that's probably why.
Right, that's part of it, and part of it, it's just part of society, like transportation, sports and entertainment. So, but I'm saying if someone's going to argue against these modifiable risk factors, might say, well, anything can kill you.
Sure.
Right? And they might say, someone arguing against this article might say, well, what am I supposed to do? Just the way I can make myself live the longest is stay at home, wake up, eat a bunch of vegetables, go downstairs to my gym, work out, come up, eat vegetables, kale. That'll kill you. No, kale won't kill you. Kale kills me.
We'll save you.
So that, it's
tricky.
It's a spectrum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's impossible to get rid of all the modifiable risk factors.
Yes.
And it's impossible to live your life totally safe.
Right.
Because we have to live. Having said that 44% of the modifiable risk factors are the cause of those cancers, or those cancers, 44% of the cancers are caused by those. There's still a big chunk of cancer that's caused by things that we cannot control.
Right.
So the article also went on to say that it's important to still emphasize proper screening, proper diagnosis, and still do the research on treatment, because there's a whole host of cancers that still occur even without those modifiable risk factors.
And so we can't prevent them, but we want to catch them and then treat them before they lead to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, in summary, try not to smoke, try to drink less, try to eat healthier so that you can get down to a healthier weight.
And safe sex.
And safe sex.
So, if you like this video,
please like it, subscribe to our channel. Check us out on our other platforms too, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Reels.
That stuff won't kill you.
That will not kill you.
And remember, you are in charge of your own health and kind of in charge of your modifiable risk factors.
We'll see you next time.